Hi everybody, Golden Era Bookworm here. Over the years I have demonstrated how the Bronze Era of bodybuilding produced some of the most impressive natural physiques that ever walked planet Earth. Images of Billy Ralph with his massive and shredded physique with arms that rivaled the best enhanced Golden Era physiques. Bobby Pandeur, although only weighing 175 pounds, equally impressive in size and definition. But then much larger and perhaps not as defined, we have Arthur Saxon at 210 pounds, George Hackenschmidt at 220 pounds, the even more massive Gustav Fristensky and champion weightlifter Charles Rigoleau both at 230 pounds, and finally Louis Uni, otherwise known as Apollon, and Hermann Gerner, both at a huge 260 pounds. The bodybuilders from this era have amazed us and asked us to truly question what the natural limit to hypertrophy is, which is the topic of today's video. To answer this question, I have looked into an article written by Professor Jan Todd titled Size Matters: Reflections on Muscle, Drugs and Sport, published in the 2008 August issue of Iron Game History, where she addresses the Fat-Free Mass Index formula, or FFMI for short, for males as published by Elena Khoury and Dr. Harrison Pope in the Clinical Journal of Sports Medicine in 1995. Since then, this formula has been generalized as a mathematical tool for determining whether a person used steroids or not, with the cutoff value estimated at approximately 25 as shown in the original normalized FFMI plot based on FFMI calculations of natural athletes versus steroid users, and we clearly see the cutoff being 25. Within the discussion of Pope's study, Professor Todd argues that the calculation is not reliable because there are many examples of Bronze Era athletes with calculated FFMIs that would have them calculated to have taken steroids in an era when not even testosterone would be first synthesized, which brings up the question, what truly then is the natural limit to hypertrophy? This is a very difficult question to answer, but I would have to agree with Professor Todd's critique of this paper. Professor Todd actually went so far as to list the FFMIs of Bronze Era strongmen, which I will now share with you in increasing value. I have also added my approximate FFMI calculation of Otto Arco. Otto Arco, which I recently featured in a video on this channel, was a muscle control expert with incredible muscularity and at a height of 5'2", weighed 138 pounds at a body fat percentage of about 5%, giving him a FFMI of 25.4, already above the cutoff. Arthur Saxon of the Saxon Trio and bench press champion stood at 5'9", weighed 210 pounds and had a calculated FFMI of 27.5. Bobby Pandeur, again featured several times on this channel, standing at 5'6", had a calculated FFMI of 27.6, again well over the cutoff. Gustav Fristensky, a Czech strongman and Greco-Roman wrestler who I haven't yet featured on this channel, had an FFMI of 28.1, and Eugene Sandow, undoubtedly the most famous of all strongmen, stood at 5'8", weighing at 206 pounds, had an FFMI of 28.3. Now, if you think these numbers, which are now reaching over the value of 28 on the FFMI scale, are impressive, we haven't even reached the heavyweights from the Bronze Era yet. The opposing figure of George Hackenschmidt, massive as he was, stood at 5'9", weighed 220 pounds and had an FFMI of 29.5. Charles Rigoleau, world champion weightlifter who went on to set 12 world records in his heyday, was really massive for his size, standing at 5'8" and weighing 230 pounds with an FFMI of 30.1. Louis Uni, stage name Apollon, a true giant of a man of height 6 foot 2¼ inches, weighed a huge 260 pounds and had an FFMI of 30.4. And finally, Hermann Goerner, the most muscular giant of the Bronze Era, stood at 6 foot and weighed 260 pounds of pure muscle. I mean, look at this guy. He's not flabby at all. You can see the muscular definition with an FFMI of 31.2. That's right, 31.2, which according to Pope's FFMI formula is well within the steroid user range. Does this mean that Pope's FFMI formula should be trashed? Perhaps, or perhaps not. At least it is a commendable attempt at determining who is natural and who is enhanced. In his paper, Pope does concede that his pool of natural athletes were not optimal, which I believe is an understatement to say the least. And that quote, "It appears that rare individuals, perhaps with some genetic or congenital anomalies, may attain an FFMI in excess of 25 without steroids." End quote. With this statement, I agree wholeheartedly. Well, what does this all mean, you might be asking? Quite simply, it is very hard to determine the exact cutoff for the FFMI formula to distinguish between natural lifters and enhanced lifters. And this formula should not necessarily be adhered to like dogma, like many would like to. Instead, I hope that with this video discussion, I have shown that medical science has much to still learn from the capabilities of human beings. Not everything can be calculated by a formula. Extraordinary individuals do exist, and whether through genetics or sheer willpower, a phenomenal physique is attainable naturally if enough concentrated effort is consistently placed on the task at hand, in this case of getting larger and stronger. The Bronze Era Titans definitely have proved this beyond any doubt. I will follow up this video with an analysis of Silver Era athletes and address the fake natural status that so many people claim from these Silver Era legends. Sure, testosterone was present, but were they experimenting with testosterone? And did it have an effect? These are important questions that will be answered in the following video, so stay tuned. So I do hope you have enjoyed watching this video on the Bronze Era Bodybuilders and the Natural Limits of Hypertrophy. If you have, please give it a like, subscribe, and leave me your comments. That's it from me. This is the Golden Era Bookworm saying bye for now. Head to www.goldenerabookworm.com for the biggest range of classic old school bodybuilding books as ebooks, e-magazines such as Iron Man and Reg Park Journal, high quality bodybuilding posters of the Golden Era stars, merchandise and classic gymwear featuring Steve Reeves, Marvin Eder, John Grimmick, Reg Park, and many other Golden Era stars. For those wishing to build a classic physique, lose fat and build muscle, online training is also available. Collectibles such as rare autographed photos from the Golden Era stars are also available, and to collaborate, please get in touch.